Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz guitarist, composer, and arranger Chance Hayden. We caught up with him in November 2020 during the revamping of the COVID-19 pandemic to talk about his latest 2020 CD, Grab and Go. Since 2005, he has sustained a very active presence throughout Portland, and his talent continuously extends to diverse, acclaimed artists and playing all over the world. Get to know him.
But hey, thanks for taking a minute out.
No problem. I'm glad we could make it work.
Absolutely. It's kind of a crazy time on the planet for everything, I think. Talk to me a little bit about, I really enjoyed Grab and Go, and I want to know, first and foremost, it comes out during a global pandemic. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a tricky thing because obviously we can't go out on tour like we normally might in support of a new album. Can't even really do local shows of any size here in Portland. And, you know, I just decided that was going to be fine and that I was still going to get the music out anyway. It's, you know, still something people need right now. And I think the opportunity is a bit different because of that. You know, everybody's just plugged in all the more to the internet. And so there's a bit more, it feels like, of a captive audience waiting for new music to get released online. And also I, you know, sort of look towards the radio as a channel I really wanted to focus on for this release. So I'm doing a big campaign with Group Marketing, who've gotten the record out to over 100 stations. And, you know, that is something I decided I would prioritize instead of some of the other things I might like booking the tour and stuff.
From an artistic perspective with this album, what do you want those that either buy it or download it to feel when they're done with this? What do you want to give them from this experience?
You know, I think the record really has a brisk energy to it all in all, and it's something that I've imagined people hearing on the go. You know, it's kind of ironic that we're in a shutdown in a lot of places and asked to stay home, but I sort of intended it to be something that would sound great in the car and have a lively energy amidst travel. So obviously that's, you know, not going to be met right now per se, but I think, you know, in a way, the energy of the disc sort of reflects out of this year. There's some ups and downs, and, you know, just like it has a bit of a flow that I feel like whether I had intended for it or not, it to me sort of speaks to this year in a way.
Speaking of, it's been, you know, it's been quite a year, I think, when this all began. I don't know that we knew that it was going to go this long. I know in the beginning when I was doing quite a few interviews when this started, I was under the same guise as everybody else, is that by the time we got to this time of year, there would be some handle on things. So, but I think too, you know, I drive around and listen to you still on my CDs, so it is nice to drive around. I really enjoyed listening to this on the CD player. So my question, I know you're in Portland now. Is that where you're from? Is that where you were born and raised?
I've grown up here. I was born in Atlanta, and my folks are of the South, but they moved us out here to the Pacific Northwest when I was very little. So this is home for me.
Talk to me a little bit about, you know, early influences and how jazz became your life.
I was drawn into the guitar by a lot of 50s music, and I don't know what it was. It just really stuck out for me as a young kid. And then I really got the bug and decided I wanted to learn how to play. You know, by the time I got to more current rock music that was happening in my childhood, bands like Nirvana and stuff. So that was where it all started in a way, and then by the time I got halfway through high school and started learning about going to college and what that would look like, I learned that you could go to college for music, which I'd never, had realized before that. And I instantly thought, well, that's what I'm doing. There's nothing that would be better than that. And I had, kind of had my toes dipped into jazz a little bit. A couple guitar teachers that, had sort of exposed me to it, but not really the right stuff that had drawn me in and gotten me excited about it until after that point, once I decided kind of on my own that it was something that I wanted to really explore and get deep into, then I started really finding artists I liked, and I found a great teacher that I started studying privately with. It all sort of just snowballed from that point. Went to PSU here, Portland State University, and had a lot of great teachers and mentors here, and kind of quickly became integrated into the music scene and the music community here, while I was in college. So I was already out gigging and, sort of saw the opportunities before me, that by the time I graduated from college, I kind of had a plan of how I was going to make it work afterwards, and just been building and growing upon that ever since.
So what about your first live jazz show that you saw that made you think, man, this is something I'd like to do with my life?
Oh, that's a good one. Gosh. I saw a lot of jazz influence music throughout my childhood. I was exposed to a lot of blues. My dad was really into blues, and there's a amazing blues fest here every summer over the 4th of July that we went to every year. And I feel like there was probably somebody there that I saw that I really like. I'm trying to remember now. And then, gosh, the Portland Jazz Fest too. Let's see. I guess I sort of have to give a shout out in a way to our local godfather of jazz, Mel Brown, wonderful drummer who has a rich history in this music and soul music too. He's a staff drummer for the Motown label, played with the Temptations and Diana Ross. But, he had 3 different bands that played at our club, Jimmy Mac's, and I would go there quite often. This was kind of around that cusp between high school and college, and that really had me excited about the music and wanting to be a part of it.
So what do you like the best about being a musician?
Oh gosh, there's so many perks. I mean, I love having my own schedule and, just being in charge of my days from tip to tail, and being able to just get up and get right into the music if I want to, or, if I need to take care of other stuff first, I can do that and know that I'm going to get to the playing and more creative side of things later in the day. Just not being beholden to, the traditional 9-to-5 workday clock. I really love that. I think, it's not always this clear, but I think it can be, and that's with the work you put in, if you've got a really clear vision and are focused on it, if you're working towards it, you're gonna see a result. You know, it's something that you get back what you put in, truly. And that's been a thing that's continued to motivate me and keep me inspired and, you know, keep me hungry for it all. And I love that part about it. You know, it's that I know I'll always kind of have a drive in this lane. And, you know, some people, they never really find that thing, or they struggle to find it. That's, for me, one of the reasons that I love it so much is because I just know that it's what I'm meant to be doing.
So one thing, obviously, that's dominated our lives for this last year has been COVID. And when we do get away from it and you do get back to the stage and the fans get back in the audience, what do you hope you've realized about live music when we come back to it?
I think we've all been missing it. I think we'll realize just how much once we are back and able to perform and audiences are able to see shows again. We'll really, you know, it'll hit us like a ton of bricks, I think. And I hope that moving forward, it is just appreciated all the more and not taken for granted. And, you know, I just think in a way there's going to be an all new appreciation for life all around as we come out of this pandemic. That's my hope anyway. So I think, you know, the live music experience will be cherished all the more, and, you know, we'll just get back to it as it's safe and easy and, you know, makes sense. I don't think it's going to be a very straight line in how it comes back, but it will definitely come back. And, you know, that's one of the great things is that we know it's not over. You know, it's something the world is always going to want and need. And so hopefully, yeah, there's just more of an awakening to its value all in all.
So my final question to you is this. Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but you're living your life. Who do you think you are?
My friends and family alike see me as a creative person and somebody who's been able to follow their passion and dreams, and in a way I know that is exactly right, and that's what I continue to strive to do and set an example through, you know, is want people to know that they can find their purpose and their passion, and they can pursue it and build their life around it.
Cool. That's a great answer, man. Chance, thanks for taking a minute on Neon Jazz today. I really appreciate it. Stay safe. Good luck with the album.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me, Joe.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview. We give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Portland, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Chance for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.